Let's freaking Gizzo, baby! Let's go. So I won't be live for too long tonight. Obviously, I'd be getting some texts. Hey, are we going live? Are we going live? Obviously, I decided to switch it up with a Thursday night film study. I don't know if you liked it or not. I'm always down to experiment new things. Obviously, the New Mexico State game is coming up. I thought to switch it up and do a deep Jayden Daniels film study. I know it is an hour long, and I spent roughly 2.5 to 3 days compiling all that information. And there was a lot. There's a lot to take in. So I'm going to answer as many questions as we possibly can. Once again, if you super chat, I'll go all night long. It doesn't matter. That obviously helps pays the bills. We obviously got a wedding coming up, and that is obviously really, really, really fun. Also, if you join the PHL T-shirt club tonight, you will be getting a Jayden Daniels card. I've actually mailed, an autographed one out today. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here we go. I got another one sitting right here. So everybody that joins PHL T-shirt club, you get a Jayden Daniels card. I don't know why you wouldn't want that. Obviously, the Patreon is absolutely phenomenal. I totally agree, Chris. Go to Blake. The schedule's a tough one, but I see 8 wins, maybe more. JD proves his vision quicker than I think he will. And that's the thing. A lot of people were sending me messages. Hey, we're not going to the playoff this year. And I was like, well, miracles do happen, but I do agree that we're probably not going to go to the playoff. But at the same time, I wasn't just talking about this year, potentially next year as well. But yeah, that film study was really hard to do. Speaking to so many different coaches, and I put some of the text conversations on the screen. And obviously, relying heavily on SEC StatCat, relying heavily on CFP numbers and the analytics, and, digging all the way back to Alabama and the 2012 game. It is amazing how difficult it is to throw over the middle. So we're going to get to as many questions. There's LJ right there. He's one of our many patrons. So, yeah, let me know in the poll question here, Garrett Nussmeyer or Walker Howard, who should get the start? Okay, so once again, I'm going to go live for about 20 minutes here. Not going to go too long. Okay. I don't know, Pegasus. I really don't. I really, really don't. I'm just asking your opinion. In fact, you were the one that brought it up in the live stream. So I guess this is kind of sort of your poll question. And once again, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling Pegasus is joining the PHL T-shirt club tonight. Maybe Sip G joins the PHL T-shirt club. So obviously, the big news, the big breaking news from tonight is KAYSHON will not be available for the New Mexico State game. It's not really a big deal. It is a big deal for him personally that he's going to be a father soon. So congratulations to you, KAYSHON, and congratulations to everyone surrounding KAYSHON. But it's not a big deal that he's missing this game, right? It's New Mexico State. We're going to roll him. I do want to see Garrett Nussmeyer get the second team reps. I think he should get the second team reps. Let's at the very least see if he performs better in this environment. Now, what I think Garrett Nussmeyer has a major issue with is thinking he's somebody he's not, right? I don't think he's a playmaking quarterback. I just don't think he is an outside the pocket quarterback. That's where a lot of his mistakes begin to happen. Where he's effective is from the pocket. And I feel as if, he does have some big time throws in his repertoire. He has the rollout versus Arkansas. But for the most part, I think he gets himself in trouble when he tries to break the pocket. So for me, I feel as if Garrett Nussmeyer is in a position where he probably, and this may come off the wrong way, he probably should reinvent himself some, because we now have a somewhat decent size sample of the escapability not necessarily being his strength. I would, prefer to see him operate a little bit more from the pocket. And if he were to get true second team reps with the first team offensive line, he's going to have a better pocket to operate with as well. His arm is really, 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 really good. It's not like Herbert or like elite God tier level, but it's really good. So I would like to see him operate a little bit more from there. And like Brian Kelly said earlier, live to play another down, right? So we shall see. Okay, appreciate you, Zay. That one took as you could tell, it took a lot. I did sit down and watch every quarterback in the SEC, and they struggle with the two. And it's funny, like statistically, as you guys saw, the throws, and I mostly focused on throws through the air 10 yards or more. But on average, throws over the middle have the same success rate as throws to the outside. And it's kind of random that a lot of quarterbacks seem and feel like throws to the outside could be a little bit more dangerous. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. So we shall see. Okay. So Jacob, good to see you. Yeah. Doug, this is why I thought Bama would lose a game this year. I think people way overvalued their skill guys, right? And I think people undervalued in a major way Jamison Williams, right? The chemistry he had with Bryce Young and just how freaking good that guy was and how bad their offense became when he was off the field. It was startling, right? You could make a strong case that he was Alabama's most valuable receiver in the Saban tenure. It's amazing, like how bad their offense just fell apart. Now, I don't think he was the best, but most valuable, potentially, yes. I mean, he changed everything. And right now, Bama just doesn't really have that many game breakers right now. I told everyone going in, don't overrate Jermaine Burton. He's okay. I don't think there's really a difference between like Jermaine Burton and Jeray Jenkins, and people were like hyping Jermaine Burton up going into the show. I didn't really quite understand that. I also didn't quite understand, some of the hype surrounding their other wide receivers. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously Bryce has played well in the cupcake games up to this point, and Bryce is really freaking good. So yeah. JoJo Earl, he's hurt, but I thought he was going to be special. I really did. And thank God, what happened with him going to Alabama and us getting Malik Neighbors. Jacob, what's good? Let's go. You're going to redshirt Walker, let him play with the ones or twos on offense and the reps he does get. Yeah, I think Garrett Nussmeyer is still going to be the backup. I just would rather, keep Walker Howard's redshirt at this point. And just go from there. But I do not have any inside information on whether or not Walker has indeed jumped Garrett Nussmeyer. But we'll see. We shall see. But once again, if you were to look at this schedule right here, I mean, it doesn't shape up more nicely than this when it comes to an SEC schedule, right? You get Missouri as a non-cross division rival. That's obviously a big bonus. And Arkansas loses quarterback. Mississippi State probably loses quarterback. Alabama loses quarterback. Florida loses quarterback. Texas A&M and Auburn's quarterback room is a disaster. And Florida State probably loses quarterback as well. This is a big-time opportunity for LSU, right? Thank you so much, Danny. Our first super chat of the evening. Thank you so much for your support and your friendship. And film study in this. Thank you so much. Don't get it easy that Nuss isn't ready and needs development as a redshirt freshman with very little play, but then say JD5 just needs more development, 3-year starter experience plus these 3 games. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, the difference though with this is Jayden's actually playing good, right? Right now, Walker Howard is not playing good. Jayden is still, while he's missing throws per se, it's still one of those things where he runs so freaking well and he doesn't turn the football over. No turnover worthy plays up to this point in the year, as in throws. Of course, he had the fumble versus Mississippi State in the zone read handoff. I feel as if I'm not making excuses for Jayden, but, at the same time, kind of like what Brian Kelly said, yes, you want to hit your throws within progression, but he's got a special playmaking trait that other quarterbacks quite simply don't have, right? And his speed and his deadliness with the ball in his hands is so freaking special that it's really hard to put into words how next level that actually is. So, for me, it makes it really difficult to because look, as far as like Garrett Nussmeyer is concerned, in my book, and I like Nuss. Once again, I've bought some of his really rare autograph cards. And I've gotten to know people close to Nuss. As I've said, I've gotten to know people close to Jayden as well. Sometimes a few of them jump in the chat as well, which is cool. I'll say it 1,000 times over, right? Garrett's like not playable right now based on what we saw versus Southern. Now he's going to get another shot to prove himself versus New Mexico State. I do think we're going to roll him, but as of right now, you can't play him unless, Jayden, let's just say Jayden got hurt. You would have to, I just think at this point, Garrett's got some things about his game, which are the turnovers that you can't do anything about until that gets fixed, right? That is like, as far as, and I'm not, Danny, you're not, and you're not saying necessarily Nuss should be the guy. You're more so saying like the discourse surrounding it. But for those of you, and look, we've had some other people comment and say, hey, Nuss should be the guy. We should be playing Nuss and let him go through his growing pains. We should just be playing Nuss right now. I'm going to be honest here. I'm not sure if Southern's a blowout if we're throwing interceptions, right? I mean, Nuss still would have beaten Southern, but at this point, the interception thing has got to be fixed. It does. And also as far as like the no experience thing with Nuss, it goes back to the turnover thing, right? Even if you have zero experience, you forgive the turnovers a little bit more, but it doesn't necessarily excuse them. Like, it doesn't matter if we asked John Trey Kirkland to play quarterback. Just don't turn the football over, right? And if you don't do that, your defense can pitch a shutout and you find a way to win, right? Which in many ways is what Jayden's done, right? So we'll see. But thank you, Danny, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. We'll be going for a few more minutes here. In the next 5 or 10 minutes, I'll answer as many questions as we possibly can. But if you do super chat, we'll keep this thing going. Okay. But yeah. Walter says the person I think that needs the snaps the most is Jayden. Oh, he's going to get a lot of them. I hope New Mexico State doesn't go out there and loses a game, kind of like what Southern did, right? We still went out there and won and made plays, but Southern made a lot of, once again, non-negotiable plays, fumbling a kickoff return, fumbling a mesh, and so on and so on. So it's very, very interesting. That's true, Zay. That's true. Yeah, Reed. It's one of those tough things, right? Because Garrett Nussmeyer was a really good high school quarterback. His high school statistics were really freaking good, right? Highest completion percentage of any senior quarterback that's ever been at LSU in the modern era, right? Um, but I do think it would do him some good to rethink the way he plays. And that's difficult. That is really, really difficult. I just don't know if he is a pocket escaper in that vein, right? Now it's hard. It's hard to be a good quarterback. It's really, really, really hard. Yeah, I try to be.
Hey Carter,
Yep.
where'd you put my clothes that were hanging over the?
I put them right there on the laundry thing.
Okay.
But yeah. I don't know, George. It depends. It just depends. I would doubt it at this point, but we'll see. We'll see. Walter, people in the locker room are satisfied when you win, and Jayden is doing a lot to help us win right now. Now, would I like to think that KAYSHON would prefer to have at least a touchdown to his name? Yeah. And would I like to think that Jack would like to be playing better, especially after, one of the best true freshman wide receiver seasons at LSU? Yeah. Or getting the ball when he's getting open? Yeah. But this is a quarterback driven sport, and there's different types of quarterbacks, and there's plenty of different ways to win. So I don't think anyone in the locker room is disappointed. I'd venture off to say that they are just happy that they won versus Mississippi State. And to go one step further, I just know this from being around LSU and knowing some of the players over the years. The second loss is the one that divides a locker room more often than not, especially if you're a good team or a team like LSU that has a brand. And you see that a second loss is the end, right? It oftentimes just is the case. I saw it last year at Arizona State, right? The second loss, everybody on the team just started kind of playing for themselves, if you will. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, it could get better. The Julian Sayin kid. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. With all these crystal balls going in LSU's favor up to this point, 2024 5-star quarterback visiting LSU. Very interesting. I watched some of him last night, and that kid is really good at reading the field, right? But at the same time, this is 2024 quarterbacks, right? We're 3 or 4 games into his junior tape, right? Like for me, Walker Howard got an LSU offer and committed to LSU before he ever even started a high school game. And he still turned out to be really special at the high school level, but it is interesting. So yeah, Stephen, I respect everybody's opinion, but this is something that I think is very important, right? You have to look at QBs differently than everything else. In every aspect of football, the quarterback is completely different. Now, the only thing that you have to do as a head coach is create an illusion that you treat the quarterback the same as everybody else, right? Richard Sherman said something very interesting in his podcast about Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson that I highly recommend everyone listen to. as Sherman basically said, look, it wasn't that Pete treated Russell different. It was the illusion that that it was that he didn't even try to make it seem like Pete cared for everybody on the team, that he didn't put Russell ahead of everybody else. But in all seriousness, you have to scope out the quarterback position in every way imaginable differently, right? And that's the case here. Harold Perkins is a defensive player who is a 3-and-done guy. I think that was, pretty clear, going in. And Walker Howard isn't that. Most quarterbacks aren't 3-and-done. So yeah, I get the logic, but it's a completely different position and a completely different situation. Now, if this were the Clemson situation where Cade Klubnik could be the difference between you and a college football playoff, and you're undefeated Clemson right now, totally different as far as like how you treat a true freshman in a red shirt. But, as far as Walker Howard, it's up to him. It's totally up to him. But yeah, it's different. Like, yeah, I will say this, even though it is like kind of early, the quarterback that I am all in on is the Colin Hurley kid, the 2025 kid from the state of Florida. And LSU has done a really good job recruiting him. That's a guy that I really want. And once again, I'm only looking at his sophomore highlights and his freshman highlights. That kid, man, that kid can play. That kid can play, and his story's incredible too. So it's kind of become my guy now. Once again, he's 2025, but yeah, I'm a Hurley guy. Go check him out. Number 2 for Trinity. That kid can freaking spin it. Okay. So yeah. But yeah, obviously, as far as recruiting is concerned, 2024 is coming in, the Julian Sand. Now, 2023 is not done. Obviously, the DJ Chester domino, the Toviano domino, there's a lot of big-time LSU targets. We'll wait for them to make their decision, but I'm trending towards LSU hopefully closing out the deal. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about LSU recruiting. We've all made the Brian Kelly joke, but, the truth is LSU, as long as we win some and we're not melting down, which we aren't, obviously, right now, we're looking pretty good. Okay? Yeah, so that's the thing, Steven. It just depends. Like, for me, if Garrett Nussmeyer is healthy, you just play him and just live with the results, right? And if Garrett Nussmeyer is to play this weekend, we will be in a blowout scenario. It just depends on your philosophy. If you feel Walker Howard needs to play right now, and if Walker wants to play right now, then you play him right now. But I do think it would be smart to just play Garrett Nussmeyer this game. Because to your point, let's just say Garrett Nussmeyer just stinks versus New Mexico State in mop-up duty. Well, I don't want Walker Howard to go in because that'll be a second game. Then what happens after that? Well, we don't know. So, it just depends on what Walker Howard wants to do with this redshirt situation. And it also depends what Brian Kelly wants to do. And I do think that is a decision where you factor in both parties. Now, for some reason, Garrett Nussmeyer, gets hurt, then Walker's your top backup. And then you go to him and say, look, it sucks, but we need to have you play no matter your redshirt situation. So yeah, very, very interesting. I still think you play him, right? I still think you play Garrett Nussmeyer. I do, but we'll see. Well, all right, guys. I really appreciate all of you hanging out. Obviously, we had an hour-long film study. Wanted to do a quick live stream. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Thanks to Danny, our super chatter, for the evening. Now, once again, we will be continuing the conversation in the Discord. Please go join the Patreon. It obviously helps fund film studies and the 2.5 days of research and all that stuff that went into what we previewed an hour-long video. So yeah, help out with that. That obviously this is what I do. So I will see everybody in the Discord. Okay, it is Power Hour LSU. Bam! Don't forget, it'll make my freaking night. See somebody join the Discord right now. And if you want to join the PHL T-shirt club, all you got to do, hit me up at Power Hour LSU on Twitter or Instagram. Okay. And tonight, got to go find this lasagna, late night lasagna run. Let's go. Let's go.